Hello, welcome to yet another episode of The Digest. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Francesca. Now, informal miners that in the recent years rebranded their identity from the dreaded Jerabos to small-scale miners have been demanding for a stake in the mining sector as copper production increased over 2 decades ago. But their cry has been ignored by successive governments. In the following documentary, we look at how various groups on the Copperbelt province has been made to side with political parties for survival. Yet, they are regarded illegal miners, and those in power turned their vulnerability as a tool to gain political mileage. Our staffer, Clive Kalunga, gathered us this report.
In the past, this group of small-scale miners, previously known as Jerabos, would not tolerate filming their activities that often raise controversy. Their reign of terror in communities they live has significantly reduced as the unlicensed miners seek a legitimate place in the lucrative mining industry. Zambia is a landlocked, peaceful southern African state of 8 neighbors, and its mineral wealth on the Copper Belt up to northwestern province is the economic lifeline along a mineral belt it shares with its sister country, the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Mining has long existed in the British colonial occupation of Rhodesian Nyasaland, while the DRC, then Zaire, was under the Belgian monarch when King Leopold II possessed the vast mineral nation as his private property. Like most countries on the continent, Zambia's population struggles to have ownership of the expensive, highly mechanized sector.
Thank you very much. I think what's important is to, first of all, state what the mining industry is to Zambia. And perhaps that really sets the tone for how and why we should think of it going forward, 10 years and maybe beyond. It's very obvious that it still remains the major influencer of the temperature of Zambia's economy. That we can't debate, okay, about. It attracts and in turn influences practically all aspects of the Zambian economy. And again, that generally we can't debate. That's as a fact, okay? And thirdly, it provides a platform for the country's industrialization. It remains a critical economic sector. Now, based on that, and being what it is, therefore, it's always good, I think, to look at it, not just in the short term, but also in the long term. 10 years is basically a medium term, I think, time. We could also consider it in the long term, maybe going 20 years, maybe go 30, going into the life of our resources in this country.
Since the privatization of government mine assets in 1991 by the former ruling Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD, foreign investment has dominated mining, hence giving the operators autonomy to decide how much workforce they need and how much investment can be rolled out for expansion at their own pace. This has been resulting in loss of employment in the majority population that is grappling with the high cost of living. The situation has over the years fueled desperation in poor communities, in many towns where groups of men and women forcefully take over mineral sites. Clashes between police and intruders are frequent.
Recho kunda vafaire kwefya kuchitava vadumende
ureko pavashura
This has persisted from the MMD government in 1991 to the Patriotic Front PF that came into office in 2011 until 2021, when it lost power to the then largest opposition party, the United Party for National Development, UPND. In all the past transitions, their demands have seemingly fallen on deaf ears, yet when it comes to political affiliation, they are openly embraced.
But Mairo first tulefwaya intungulushi mtu afweko first bafumye first material yonse ilya mukonka nyepo ilo twalamo kuikala Mairo tulanshanye pali safety yashira shimbinchende mu kisokwere bushe na mwangufu hapo ukwamba Mairo tuikale tulanshanye pali safety yanchende shimbyo sho musokwere. But meanwhile Mairo tukalasenda ila material mwebene mukatwali ko mutwala.
In Ndola district, the provincial capital of the Copperbelt province, over 1,500 small-scale miners that have been mining on the old tailings of the defunct Bwana Mkubwa mine have exhausted this mineral site, also known as slag, resulting in trenches that have become death traps. It only takes a few simple tools to dig byproducts of copper that were dumped decades ago when technology was limited. But now improved machinery is able to refine the once regarded waste that most smelters can process.
Chesu chino mwabakateka batela maini yo ya wina
Maturanguluka fuebara maturanguluka twaifuro kupanga kona fimbi mulandiwanda na maswapa yupimpa maturaira timoma ne in your pocket abapene lelo ichicho mwachitaba President Edgar Chagwa Lungu mwabombo mulimo ukalambasana kurifwe bantu ba Mundora district ukutupela ichichimbotera chakubwa mukubwa lelo bamuisa bafume kuchingola bana bakwata ifimbotera fya kuchingola bakonkerera kano kenaka kubwa mukubwa kwisa tupoka ako mutupele
uwato ulaliei ina mashina yandine bwaizeka kwele mwikashwa mbwana mkubwa constituency turepelo kutashokala mbasana kuli bakateka wesu bachagwa Edgar Lungu pakumono bulanda bwesu fwe bana bwana mkubwa bakitwe bali bapela balwansha bali bapela bachingola bali bapela mukulekeresha bapela ifo fwe bana bwana mkubwa pamaka bamuisa tabatu chimfye.
Stakeholders in the country's governance urge policymakers to address this problem, especially that it often disrupts operations of both local and foreign investors. Minerals diminish, but for Zambia, the prospects of a better mining industry seem higher, as the once distant thought of possessing gold has lately dominated public space in places such as Kasenseli in Mwinilunga district of Northwestern Province, which has become a highly sought-after mining region for the precious metal. The scramble for gold has in recent times even involved high-profile individuals, resulting in widespread condemnation, and the former PF government was compelled to step up security around Kasenseli gold mine. The concern was mostly caused by small-scale miners, whose rival groups attempted to dominate the site. In an effort to restore sanity, the Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines Investment Holdings ZCCMIH was recently granted a mining license to increase production of gold around Mwinilunga district, and this has stopped the haste of illegal miners to reap from a mineral they are not licensed to mine. Forming cooperatives is seen by most small-scale miners as the best way of coordinating safe mining and gaining accountability from proceeds of the business. An example of a successful cooperative is Chapamo Mineral Processing Limited of Kitwe District that has about 7 groups of small-scale miners, which has had a share of this mineral slag dump, popularly known as Black Mountain, when the former government used it as an empowerment program from the portion given out by the private owners.
As much as anything is documented, it is our responsibility, the mayors, the PS, the minister themselves, the DCs, all heads of department, to say what is transpiring there. We may not be benefiting. We are in the offices with red neckties, already getting salaries. But this is the pride for the young ones here. That's what we are saying. So we have the responsibility ourselves now as leaders to make sure. How many weeks have they operated here?
It's over a month.
See? That's too big a period to be diluted. And no one observed that this is an anomaly. There's an anomaly here in terms of operations. We're talking of 30 solid days. That's what we're saying. So we have the responsibility to check what is happening here. At times you just tell the guys today, as a mayor for the city of Kitwe and the DC, you will not go and operate. We just want to see what is happening there. You even invite your colleagues from Lusaka. Guys, it's a litmus test to them. What is happening at the mountain? You have a clear picture, we wouldn't have lost these people. And the blame, let me tell you, I want you to quote me properly. We're not blaming anybody. All of us are responsible as a province to make sure that every single life is protected at all costs. On 29th August 2021, clashes broke out between armed police
and illegal miners in Luansha district. Men and women, mostly youths, protested the move taken by the Chinese-run Luansha copper mines to remove thousands that had encroached on its vast area. And Shaft 28 has been point of contention, where trespassers easily dig copper ore that is close to the surface. The place has been out of bounds to owners of the mine and visitors like the media whose cameras are barred from filming the illegality. But when a police crack squad moved in before dawn of 29th August, the tough shells of the illegal miners cracked and rushed to call the media on phone.
And it's quite disheartening when you go there to see what is happening, and it's clear that these children, are being abused, by the so-called older people that are engaging in these illegal mining activities, and this causes your heart to bleed, as a parent, because these are children that are supposed to be in school, and you find them at awkward times when you can clearly tell that they're supposed to be in school. 9 hours, 10 hours, 12, 13, 14 hours, you pass there, you see young children.
Strikingly, their demand for a place in the mining sector is entangled in rivalry, which somehow undermines their quest. Hence, they have been conducting unlicensed activities at the mercy of those in the corridors of power in exchange for votes from the lowest to the highest elective office.
Kolachi vekatenya babantu panofuatwa kuli kuikala shani bantu aba bana bale kula bonsa banini aba balefo kwacho kasanye fintu fyawa mafoto anomba twakula nomba fwe bonishi kushaku yashino pano aba bakekala shani ngata tubaluishisha ifya kuikala
pero lupili nomba ture bomba fya bakubutuka butuka baka polisi bale sanga batu pepeka ture butuka nomba twala bomba shani.
The election of Zambia's 7th president, Hakainde Hichilema, in the August 12 general election promises a new dawn for many struggling Zambians. The new head of state has so far demonstrated intolerance on criminality by bringing an end to a reign of terror by members of the ruling party that took over the operation of markets and bus stations.
I stand before you today, humbled and filled with gratitude for your trust in a simple village boy who you have made the 7th president of the Republic of Zambia. Our administration will ensure that sanity returns to all our places, all our communities.
Look, investors are important in that they are the ones that actually are the players in the League of Miners. Our country is just a host. Okay, just like any other mining country in the world, doesn't matter where you are. Countries where there is a resource are just hosts. The players are the investors. Those investors could be local, could be foreign, but they are the ones that matter. So yes, they are very important. Mining investment influences practically all aspects of, like I said earlier on, of our country's economic activities. One does not have to look or think too hard to appreciate this. Okay? Many commercial activities thrive or slow down or cease in response to the mining activities. So they are very, very critical. They are the ones that they are the ones with the ability and the will to invest. They are the ones who have what it takes to actually invest, develop, operate, and run a mine. That's why they are investors. So we as a chamber, we deem, the investors to be a very, very important group of business people.
Without making it too political, you have to create an environment again that formalizes their trade. So it goes back to policy, where you actually create a policy that allows them to participate in the value chain formally. So you've talked about cooperatives, right? When you have cooperatives, the idea behind it is to create a critical mass where at least what they're doing brings value, where the artisanal miner actually partakes in a value chain at a slightly bigger level than just being an individual that takes a 50 kg or 200 kg bag of ore to sell. And you create that environment, but we need to formalize policy. The Mines and Minerals Development Act of 2015 also needs revision to talk to this, where the artisanal miners have a reason to be part of the value chain. Right now, they don't have a reason. So how do you create the reason? Is you create the value chain from the mining processing. Now, when you talked about refining gold and, for example, gemstones, once you create the environment to add value to those products in country, right, you start moving back in the value chain where you have formalized buying houses for ore, exchanges for gemstones, gold, which now are participating in the value chain. But again, I'm going back to this thing, keep it simple. Artisanal miners are, to some extent, have not had that education to understand taxes, to understand safety, to understand skills. So this is where I think the environment will have to change.
As President Hichilema promises to foster local ownership of the mining sector, these small-scale miners on the Copperbelt province and from other mining regions dealing in various metals are eager to have a legalized stake in the vast natural resources.
Zambians recently voted for the United Party for National Development Alliance government in a protest vote over widespread poverty that ended the Patriotic Front 10-year rule. So, will the small-scale miners be heard by President Hakainde Hichilema's administration? This has been your digest for this week. Give us your feedback by emailing us at documentaries@diamondtvzambia.com. On behalf of my crew, my name is Francesca Piribanda. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.